A society to have order and to protect its citizens must have rules. Rules or laws are created and agencies are formed to enforce the rules. In the United States, you are innocent until proven guilty. Our judicial system, our courts, have the task of determining guilt. When guilt is found, the courts mete out the consequences. If we follow the rules of our society, we may never have to face the bar of justice inside a criminal courtroom. Join us now as we see an actual Lake County court in session.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Miller. Could all of you, including the visitors we have in the room, please raise your right hands? All the way, right hand, all the way. Do each of you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this you do under the pains and penalty of perjury? Yes. Thank you. You can put your hands down. Each of you has a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. When you get to the microphone, please let me know if you're under 18. Please let me know if you're not a citizen of the United States. If you're not a citizen of the United States, entering a plea today could affect your immigration status. Please let me know if you're on probation or parole, because if you plead today, it could affect your probation or parole status. If you plead today, you're giving up your right to have a trial and have an attorney represent you at the trial. Today, we're being tape recorded, that's what the blue light means, and videotaped. If I sentence you on a criminal case, you need to go to room 105 and either sign up for the payment plan or pay it in full. The least that can be is $273. That is in addition to whatever we sentence you to here in the courtroom. All right, we're going to start with in custodies. Mr. McConnell, tell me this is not so. Okay, I see a little note here. The charge you're here for today is fishing without a license, but that's not why you're in jail. Why didn't you just pay the ticket?
Because I was incarcerated when the day was that for me to pay that.
Are you looking to go into prison?
18 months DOC.
All right, help me with this. When they do the numbers to decide what privileges you get in prison, etc., this wouldn't have even been a misdemeanor. This would have just been a ticket if you'd paid it, but now it's a misdemeanor. If we leave it a misdemeanor, do you think it will hurt you when you add up your score to go to prison?
It doesn't matter. All I'm gonna do is 18 months, so you can...
Yes, but if you're gonna do 18 months and with the points, this puts you in solitary confinement.
I don't know.
All right, let me consult with my assistant here. All right, so we're gonna change it back to a civil because I'm not sure. It may just be like a half of a point or something, and that may be the difference between privileges and no privileges. I have not seen your score sheet. All right, so we will get that to you in a moment. No more fishing without a license. Next, Michael Clough. Right, Mr. Clough, you were charged with a battery. You have the public defender on this case, the battery case?
Well, I think there was kind of like a misunderstanding.
Okay, I just need to know, was the public defender appointed on this battery?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and so you're wanting to waive the public defender and hear the offer from the state and perhaps accept it today?
Possibly, yeah.
All right, we appreciate that you would like to hear the offer today, but I guess we weren't really expecting you today, and the prosecutor has not had an opportunity to talk to the alleged victim yet.
Correct, Your Honor.
So they're not prepared to make an offer. All right, the charge is that you hit the mother of your child.
Supposedly, yeah.
That's what the charge is.
Yeah.
And that she was holding the baby at the time. So if you were to plead to it today, I would find you guilty of domestic violence battery, and I would sentence you to a year's probation, but you can get off of probation as soon as you complete the 29-week batters intervention class. You can have no contact with the victim until we hear from the victim and she tells us she wants contact.
Will she be notified of that?
We will attempt to notify her of that. Do you have a phone number?
I do, but if my phone's turned off.
Well, turn it on and give me a phone number.
Okay, and-
You don't know her number by heart.
Oh, well, she moves around a lot. She's very unstable, and that's part of the frustration with her.
Right. Well, if you plead today, it would be to battering her.
It would be to battering her?
It would be to domestic violence battery.
Okay.
I would put you on a year's probation. You can get off of probation as soon as you do a 29-week domestic violence class to learn how not to be violent, not to do drugs, not to do alcohol, how to work with your partner instead of saying bad things about her, that sort of thing. If you want to say not guilty, we'll make sure the public defender is appointed and you can go talk to an attorney.
Okay, yeah, if it's, I'm sorry, but yeah, I would like the public defender.
You are present. I appoint the public defender for sure. Okay. Could you explain to him how to get to the public defender's office, and he needs to wait for his paperwork. Maria Lopez Paz, please.
The docket was the public defender, so he doesn't. ¿Te lo llamaron también?
Okay, he does not need, you're getting his phone number and address? Oh, no. Okay, you already have the public defender, so you can just leave. You already have the public defender, so go over there and make an appointment. Maria Lopez Paz is charged with letting Mr. Batista drive when he wasn't allowed to. So let's start with Mr. Batista. Mr. Batista, it appears this is the first time he's been caught driving without a license.
Supuestamente esta es la primera vez que lo agarraron manejando sin licencia de conducir. Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Batista is from Honduras. What city?
Usted, señor, es de Honduras, ¿cierto?
Sí, sí.
¿De qué ciudad?
Nacido en Mesapa, Atlántida. Mesapa, Atlántida, Honduras.
Mesapa,
Atlántida.
Atlántida. Mesapa, Atlanti.
Yeah. How far did you get in school?
¿Hasta qué nivel escolar ha llegado usted? ¿Cuántos años terminó?
9 años.
9 years I completed.
All right. So you went to a private school after 6th grade?
Así que después del 6º grado usted fue a un
Ajá.
colegio particular,
Exacto.
una escuela particular.
Ujú.
Ajá. Yes.
Okay, very interesting. The state says this is the first time, so Miss Annie, if he's going to admit did he have a license in Honduras?
¿Usted tenía licencia en Honduras?
No logré porque era menor de edad todavía.
Not
pero
at
sí
this
ya
time
manejaba.
because I was still not of age. I was still a minor.
Is he in the United States legally?
Legal.
Illegal.
All right, Miss Annie, ask him if he's going to plead, and then you know the routine.
¿Qué se va a declarar? Es la multa y costo de la corte. ¿Usted lo acepta?
Sí.
He accepts that, Your Honor.
Okay, he also has a speeding ticket going 93 in a 70.
Usted también tiene por exceso de velocidad, yendo a 93 en una zona de set.
Miss Annie, this says he has a Honduras passport.
¿Usted tiene un pasaporte de Honduras?
Sí.
Yes.
So, did he come into the country legally and just overstayed?
¿Usted entró legalmente y después se
No.
quedó más por exceso o cómo pasó por todo esto?
No, yo entré en legal.
Ilegal. No, I came in illegally.
Boggles my mind. Okay, then the speeding ticket is $281. Is he going to pay it or fight it?
$281 es la boleta de tránsito por exceso de velocidad. ¿Usted lo va a pelear o lo va a pagar?
Yo lo voy a pagar.
I'm going to pay it.
He'll have until September 27th. Is that a work date?
Vamos hasta septiembre.
September 27th to pay it. Now, Ms. Lopez Paz, he was not allowed to drive in the United States because he doesn't have a legal license.
Él no estaba autorizado a manejar en los Estados Unidos.
And you're charged with letting someone drive your vehicle who wasn't allowed to drive.
Manejar su vehículo que no estaba autorizado a manejar.
State, could you tell her what your recommendation is?
Yes, Your Honor. At this point, the state offers a withhold of adjudication 6 months with early termination after the defendant pays a $200 fine.
La oferta de la fiscalía es la siguiente.
Wait, say that again?
The state offers
$400 fine?
$200 fine.
Okay, $200 fine.
Lo puede
6 months probation, early term after she pays $200.
lo más pronto que usted pague la multa.
Miss Annie, she indicated that she wasn't feeling well. How not feeling well? How sick was she?
She was explaining that to me earlier as well.
Yo traía
La
el
jueza
papel.
quería saber, ok, muy bien.
Del
La jueza
médico.
quiere saber que usted no se estaba sintiendo bien y quiere saber.
Sí, yo por eso traía porque iba como con fiebre y sentía que la presión se me bajó.
Yes, I was starting to feeling badly. I had a fever and I was feeling that my blood pressure was dropping. Your Honor, I think she handed a doctor's statement or from a clinic or a doctor to the
All right, this was a rental car.
Esto era un coche alquilado.
Sí, un carro renta.
Okay, and you signed a contract that only you would drive.
Usted firmó un contrato que usted solamente era la única que iba a manejarlo, la única conductora en ese contrato.
So you broke your contract when you let someone else drive, but there was no crash, correct?
Esto era incumplimiento de su contrato. No hubo ningún choque, ¿no es
No,
cierto?
no,
How did the car get returned to the rental place? Was it towed or did you take
¿Cómo
it to the
llevaron
rental
el coche
place?
de vuelta entonces al sitio donde lo alquiló? ¿Lo remolcaron o lo
No,
manejaron de
yo
vuelta?
manejé mal, así mal.
¿Mm?
Yo tuve que manejar.
I had to. I drove it as badly as I was feeling.
All right, state, she's claiming a defense of necessity, which would go back to his case.
Well, Your Honor, for a defense of necessity, if he was driving 93 miles an hour to go to the emergency room, he would have gone to the emergency room that same day, not 3 days later. The excuse that I have is 3 days, and that's not going
La
to
excusa que usted está presentando indica que
cover
usted se
that.
presentó en la
So
sala
at
de
this time,
emergencia.
the offer will
Okay.
stay the same.
Miss Annie, could you tell both of them now that there is a defense of necessity if it's an emergency? So if he's saying he was driving because it was an emergency, that could be an excuse.
Ser una excusa.
Sí, pero como...
Okay, but the state doesn't accept it, it's emergency now, because she ended up driving anyway,
Porque de todas maneras usted siguió manejando
and she didn't go to the doctor for 3
y
days.
no fue al doctor o a ver a una asistencia médica.
But if they want to say not guilty and have a trial,
Si ustedes quieren declararse no culpable y celebrar juicio,
they could explain to the jury that in their mind, they thought this was an emergency.
pueden explicarle al jurado que en su opinión entonces esto era un caso de emergencia.
And then the jury would have to decide, was it an emergency, a good excuse or not?
Para entonces decidir si esto era una excusa lo suficiente bien.
If they want to go ahead and plead today,
Pueden declararse, pueden declarar.
they can. He already knows what his sentence is, and she knows what her sentence
La
is.
sentencia de él son los $200 y la multa y usted sabe lo que se le está ofreciendo. ¿Qué hacemos?
Sí, no, está bien, yo voy a pagar la multa.
That's fine, I'll just pay the fine.
All right, it's a lot of money.
Muy bien, es una cantidad bastante grande.
All righty, he needs to be printed.
Hay que
She
tomar
doesn't.
las huellas y los costos de
All right, next we have Graciela Hernandez Casilcas, AKA Graciela Hernandez. This is apparently the second time she's been caught driving with no license. This is jail time.
manejando sin licencia de conducir, supuestamente. Así que esto,
First page of the add-ons, Your Honor, yes, it will be an adjudication in 5 days in the Lake County Jail, or the 3-weekend program.
lo que se le puede ofrecer
Miss Annie, could you ask her how her health is?
5 días de cárcel o trabajo fin de semana. ¿Cómo se siente usted? Usted ¿cuál es su estado de salud? Good.
All right, because she got caught driving again when she knew she was not allowed to drive, it's 5 days in jail or 3 weekends in the weekend work program. Miss Annie, could you back up and explain that? You're very familiar with those options.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oscar Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, you are charged with driving while license suspended. This is your third time getting charged with driving while license suspended. One time Orange County reduced it to driving without a license to give you a break. So this is actually your fourth time. This time you were suspended for not paying an Orange County ticket and your insurance was lapsing. I don't think it had quite lapsed yet. Do you have a valid driver's license now?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you show the state, please? Yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, he was only suspended this time for not paying one ticket. The insurance suspension had not gone into effect yet. What's the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, will be an adjudication of guilt, 6 months probation. The defendant can early terminate after paying a $200 fine.
And you made it the low end because he fixed it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we have a deal?
Pardon?
Do we have a deal?
Yes, ma'am.
If you get 3 in a 5-year period, Tallahassee takes your license for 5 years. As far as I can tell, this is your second. You had one in Lake in 2010, so this is your second within 5 years.
Yes, ma'am. I'm aware.
All right, he needs to be printed. Thank you. All right, Rachel Lee Tanner, please. Ms. Tanner, you are charged with selling, giving, or serving alcohol to a person under 21. Was this at work or a party?
It was at work.
Okay, so you just didn't check the driver's license carefully enough?
No, because I had never worked at a convenience store before. When I went through my training, they told me that if they looked 30 or older, that I didn't have to check the ID. He looked like he was in his late 30s. The officer even told me and my boss that he looked that old. So I didn't check the ID because I was told if they look 30 or older, you don't have to check it.
So you had a 20-year-old who looked over 30?
Yes.
State, do you have the picture in the file? Usually I have the picture and the ID of the undercover person. All right, I'm going to look at the picture if we have it. Usually I have it, I do not. You found it?
They're on evidence, Your Honor.
What?
They're placed on evidence, not.
All right, Ms. Tanner, I can't help you because I don't have the picture. But if indeed this person looked over 30, then any reasonable person would have done what you did. I don't have the picture. I don't know who the person was. My file is not complete. So if you want to say not guilty, that you followed the protocol and they were trying to trick you with a person way older, who looked way older, I think a jury would take that into consideration. But if I look at that picture and I say he's obviously under 21.
The officer told me and my boss that he looked like he was in his 30s.
What officer?
I don't know what his name was.
Undercover officers?
There was 5 officers that came in after I had sold the alcohol.
Because you were a flight risk, huh? I don't have anything, so I can't help you on this. So you have a choice. We'll enter a not guilty on your behalf, and you can come. You're well-spoken, you're polite, you were there, we weren't. So you can handle it yourself at the next court date while the state would get the pictures, etc. You can say not guilty, you want an attorney. If you can afford an attorney, go get one. If you can't afford an attorney, I can appoint the public defender to represent you, but that will be a $250 minimum charge. So you can wait and see, let us look at the pictures, or we can appoint an attorney right now, or you can go get an attorney.
I'll wait till you see the pictures.
All right. Defendant, state to bring picture of buyer to PNC. All right, we're going to enter not guilty on your behalf. We're not appointing an attorney. We'll see you on that court date. But I'm not going to be a happy camper if he looks like he's 16. Vaughn Hengy, thank you for dressing so respectfully for the court. I don't think I've said that yet today. You are charged with a DUI, marijuana, and paraphernalia. Most people with this charge would like to talk to an attorney before they decide what to do. You've never had any criminal traffic history in Florida before. This appears to be your first. Do you want to plead today, or do you want to talk to an attorney?
I have an attorney.
You have an attorney, private attorney. Okay, you're present, you're entering a not guilty plea, and you will secure your own private attorney. Do you know who that will be?
Her name's Miss Marlin.
Sorry?
Miss Marlin. I can't pronounce her last name.
Okay, we'll just let her enter in then. All right, it's a not guilty, and we'll give you your new court date that you'll have to share with your attorney. Thank you. Asia Austin? Say it again? Aisha, I'm sorry. Miss Aisha Austin, you are charged with a battery and is disturbing the peace. And yet today, when I mispronounced your name, you were very polite about it. So that was apparently just a really bad day.
Yes, ma'am.
The fight at school.
Yes, ma'am.
There's just no excuse for fighting at school. School is supposed to be a place where we can get an education, not have to be afraid. And if somebody bothered you, you should have gone to the office and said, they're bothering me. You should not have participated in a fight. And in this case, they said, the fight's your fault.
And it wasn't my fault. I didn't throw the first punch, and they pinned it on me. It's just of thinking that you have so-called friends and you don't. So that was the fool for that one.
They were two people were attempting to restrain you, and you were not going to stop fighting to cooperate with them. That's not good. All right, the other person says she attempted to leave because you were having this argument, and when she attempted to leave, you grabbed her hair.
Your Honor, I raised my right hand to tell you the truth today, and she threw the first punch.
So then why didn't you walk away after that?
It was just a out-of-nowhere punch, like.
So then why didn't you walk away after the out-of-nowhere punch and go tell the police?
Your Honor, I have no idea. And you're so right. I should have walked away. But me being so aggressive and the type of person that came out kind of took over me.
Well, there were 300 people watching. So that's going to be like the biggest trial we've ever had. And I'm a little confused. Miss Lockett says you went to her. So you did go to a guidance counselor first.
Yes.
So Miss Lockett wasn't able to talk with you about the problem, or how old are you?
18.
So Miss Lockett wasn't able to talk to you about the problem, or you talked and then it still didn't work out?
I went to her and I asked her, I said, how do you calm down? You know, because I had been angry since that morning. So I was asking her, well, how do you calm down? And she says, well, I was listening to music. She says, well, what are you listening to? I said, love songs. And she said, well, you know, how does that make you feel? I said, it really doesn't. Just kind of, you know, it's just playing. And that was pretty much it, what we talked about.
And then within 5 minutes, the fight happened.
Yeah, and I went on by myself.
Okay, so it sounds like you were you weren't going looking for a fight at that point. You were trying to get out of having a fight.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's reasonable. A jury could take that into consideration.
Your Honor, just for the record, in the probable cause affidavit, it states that she had gone to the counselor and she told the counselor, I know who did it or I know who said it, and the counselor told her, just let it go, just let it go. And a few minutes later, the defendant is found on top of the victim. So,
Well, just because she's on top doesn't mean she started it. I mean, it could be a self-defense issue. It took 3 of them to pull you off. Okay, so are you going to be, yes? Come on up.
Hi. I was there the day before the fight started, and I went out and talked to the counselor. And she discussed with Aisha to just let everything go. And Aisha was trying very hard, but it was like they were jugging at her. It was 2 other girls that were jugging at her that she normally hang around. So in the one particular girl that she did get in a fight with, she knew that Aisha could not afford to get any type of trouble. And this is her last year in school. She was been trying to stay out of trouble as much as possible. But the day that it occurred, it was, she tried to walk away. She did ask the girl what happened because they were supposed to be friends. So she tried to walk away.
Okay, stop. This is not the time for the trial. Okay, Miss Austin, you can accept the state's offer today. She'll read it. I don't know that you've read it yet. We'll read it right now. Or you can say not guilty and talk to an attorney. And the jury can hear all these details. The offer from the state is?
yes, Your Honor, as to count 1 battery, the state offers an adjudication of guilt, 6 months probation. The defendant can early terminate after completing 12 hours of anger management, 20 hours of community service with no buyout, and no contact with the victim, in this case, Valerica Nails. And as to count 2, the state offers an adjudication of guilt, 6 months probation. The defendant can early terminate by either paying a $200 fine or completing 20 hours of community service.
So you can take that offer, or you can say not guilty, I was just defending myself, you can have a trial. You're going to take it? Okay, she's an adult and can make that choice. This is a battery, so you need to know that the mandatory costs are close to $700. So this is what the regular sentence is, but you have to go to room 105 and sign up for the mandatory costs, and they're close to $700. And if there's restitution, we have to reserve a right. Let's say she got a tooth knocked out, her dental bill was $1,000. You could be responsible for that also. Was she charged with anything?
I'm not aware of anything.
All right, here's her print sheet. You're not to have any contact with her. You're at the same school. Don't talk to her. Don't look at her. Don't send her messages. Could you write may continue to go to the same school at the bottom? All right, we'll print you. Miss Annie, who are we doing next?
Your Honor, 2 issues. Ms. Graciela Hernandez has accepted the weekend work program.
All right, there's an opening this weekend, I believe.
The dates that Ms. Lisa gave me, Your Honor, are as follows: April 6th and 7th, 13th and 14th, 20th and 21st.
And those are all right with the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we shall write it up. He needs to be printed. Okay, Miss Annie, Jose Perez?
This is Jose Felix Perez, Your Honor.
Okay. This is, I believe, a first.
Esto es supuestamente la primera vez.
Let me double
Yes.
check. So it's the $200,
Lo acepta?
6 months probation, early term upon payment of $200.
Yes, I accept that I'm guilty.
And could you please tell him if he's caught driving again without a license, it's jail?